guys, welcome back to another video. This video is coming about 10 days from the last. We ran into some technical difficulties. My PC kind of shut down for 2-3 days. It was out of commission, but it's up and running now. As you can see, we're here. And we're gonna do an episode again, live for the second time. We got myself, and we have the wonderful Kevin. Kevin, how you doing?
Hey man, I appreciate that. I'm doing good. I'm glad that your PC is working because I'm not a one-man army. I cannot do monologues. I would not have been able to do a video by myself. So
Oh, you would have done great.
I don't know about that. I'm glad I don't have to find out. I'll tell you that right now.
So we don't know what really there was to talk about, but there just seems to be one topic, okay, that just has been in the news for quite some time since it's been announced, 18 months ago, whatever it is. Activision Blizzard acquisition for Microsoft, the Sony Microsoft back and forth in the FTC case. Nonsense, okay? It's getting a little ridiculous now. I don't know if you want to speak on this first, because I might lose my damn mind if I start speaking right now. So, as I wear my Sony headset, we all know the joke if you've been watching other episodes. Yeah, if you watch other episodes, you know it's more a crack on Sony, and not that I'm a Sony fanboy. But yeah, what do you think about the news right now, Kevin? And this news is mind-boggling. Go ahead.
I mean, so as of the time of recording, as of right now, we're live. I believe they're 4 days into this preliminary trial, Microsoft versus the FTC. Now, the craziest thing is, to me, first of all, I'm gonna put this out into the universe straight away. Before we get into it, I personally don't really care too much one way or another if Microsoft gets Activision Blizzard or not. Like, as long as that company, those developers keep developing great games for gamers, and as far as this is concerned, Microsoft wants to make it multi-platform. They want to make agreements. They have agreements with Nvidia. They have agreements with Nintendo. They want to have an agreement with Sony, but Sony's being a little punk about it. Yeah, as long as they keep making the games, I'm cool either way. It doesn't matter to me. What's interesting is the little bits of information we've been getting since this started the past 4 days, and there's documents that have been redacted, but they were poorly redacted, so people could read actually what was supposed to be blocked out. So for instance, COD generated Sony $800 million in the US alone in 2021, which is a lot of cash. But on the flip side, Jim Ryan, who is Sony's, is he the CEO? No, he's Sony's chief, I believe. The PlayStation chief.
PlayStation CEO, yeah, whatever it is.
He actually said that he didn't believe that Call of Duty was going to be on the PlayStation for too much longer. He couldn't say with certainty that after the next Call of Duty that it was going to continue to be on the PlayStation. And then on the top of that, there's an email that says that he didn't even care if Microsoft bought Activision, if they got Call of Duty. He said they'll be fine without Call of Duty. Yeah. So you internally have this conversation with your employees and your higher ups, but then in public you want to try to block this merger every which way you can. And it's just been it's actually been really interesting. I've there's a lot of stuff that's been going on. I mean, there was a list apparently there was a list of like over 100 developers that Microsoft wanted to try to acquire, one of them being Square Enix. So there was at one point where they wanted to acquire Square Enix. They wanted to acquire Bungie at one point. They wanted to acquire CD Projekt Red at one point. They wanted to acquire IO Interactive at one point. So there's a lot of big, well-known developers that they wanted to get in their team, mostly because the ones that, so from what I understand, the ones that they really, really wanted, the ones that they were really close to actually giving offers to and whatnot, and you know, I don't know exactly why they didn't, like for Square Enix, for instance, is because Square Enix actually has a pretty decent mobile game. Like they have a little bit of mobile game presence. So that's why they were going to go after Square Enix. I personally would have been happy about that. That's one I actually would have been happy for, because then I would have been able to get my Final Fantasy on the PC sooner. But of course, I got to wait a year and a half because PlayStation's dumbass needs to make it exclusive for that long. But anyways, that's besides the point.
PlayStation needs to make something exclusive? What?
Yeah.
Because we're so against that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyways, are there some things about this so far that have surprised you, or what are your takeaways? What have you been thinking about as far as you hear this stuff?
Sony is a bunch of Mitches, okay? As Kevin Hart likes to say. This is like some crybaby attitude. I don't know what world we're living in.
Yeah.
Because Sony's known for its exclusives. It has probably the biggest exclusives like library and like most sought after library. I don't know how the reasoning they keep giving or in these arguments in courts that they're bringing up is like everything they have done themselves, kind of. So it's just very strange and odd. I don't know how. And then this guy had the balls to, like, they're going back and forth, Jim Ryan and what's his name right now, Phil Spencer.
Yeah.
And he had the balls to like respond back to Phil with like a whole thing, like, this is why, like, our issue with it, but if you want, we will be okay with you doing it if all Activision games will still come to the PlayStation. There's no exclusivity like whatsoever, no extra incentives on Xbox. If you give us this, if you do, basically it was if you buy Activision but let Activision still be its own standalone company. Right. That's literally what he was saying. Why the hell would anyone buy something to not own it? And better yet, are we still forgetting the $79 billion this cost or whatever it was? Yeah, let me buy this for $79 billion but not run it the way I want to. Like, who the hell are you to say, yeah, make all your games still on PlayStation, or don't make this exclusive? Like, it's like, bro. And now I also feel like the whole thing where it's like they made a deal with Nintendo. They told so-and-so they'll bring them the games. And they told Sony they would bring them the game. Like, we're not going to make it exclusive, at least for the next whatever. It was 10 years. Like, you're going to have Call of Duty.
Yeah. And
now it's to the point, if this ever goes through, you best believe they're just pulling everything. It's like, bro, you know how much, like, you made life hell for this to go through. You're being obnoxious. You're being absurd about everything. And it's just like, you don't think now we're going to, if we do get the chance, you best believe Sony's going to be giving nothing. And I wouldn't give them anything if they somehow get through this without having to actually make an agreement with them. But the fact that he proposed basically like, yeah, here's the proposal. We'll agree, but here's the proposal. And the proposal was basically like, give us everything. It's like, in what world has that ever happened now? Like, when did you get an exclusive? Like, what does Microsoft see of Spider-Man? Nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I don't understand where they're going with this, what kind of power trip they are on. But it's ridiculous. And exactly, they talk a big game behind doors, like talking about, oh, they could even they should make an electric car or something in one of those emails that came out. Like they didn't care. Like they're better off making an electric car. Like I don't care if they try to get this. Like, but now you over here in court with your tail between your legs. You know. So
okay.
I don't know.
Okay, so I have a question because this is something that I struggle to like. I'm on both sides of this sometimes, but so is the Nintendo Switch a competitor to Microsoft's Xbox and Sony's PlayStation?
Okay. Good point to bring up. I feel like Nintendo is in their own world, and rightfully so.
Okay.
It's like we're waiting for the next console. They just dropped one of their biggest IPs, right? The Zelda IP. Like,
yeah.
And everyone's like, if they're gonna do that, it's like we better get it with a new. No, still dropped a 10 out of 10 apparently. You know what I mean? And they don't care. Like, they're selling to their community, their base, their customer base.
Yeah.
And it hasn't stopped. Like, and they're still putting out games, and it works. Like, I guess the only thing is when it comes to maybe features in games and graphical power. But also when you think of Nintendo, it is the most like kiddish type of thing when you think about like how much more do you need the graphics to improve? Like it's not about realism on Nintendo. It's all some cartoony type things. Now smoother character models and things like that. Of course, we can always use that. But like my point is, I think they're on their own clock. They're not on the rush. Like, I don't think they care to compete, and I don't even know if they're like, if we start pulling, do they make more money? Like we talk about Nintendo, and we know where they're big and over there across seas, and these people are diehard Nintendo fans out there. So I don't know. Your thoughts?
So here's how I think of Nintendo, and I feel like this should be kind of how you base this question of if they are competitors. If you hook this console up to your house, if it's a household console, which it can be, it can also be portable. I understand that, but it could be a household console, and you purchasing a game on that console would otherwise prevent you from purchasing a game on another console. For instance, I gave an example. If your child or whatever, you have a kid, whatever, and the new Zelda comes out and the new, I don't know, Madden comes out. I'm just making something up, right? At the same time. Let's just say they came out at the same time.
Yeah.
If the kid has to decide between one or the other, then I feel like it's a competitor. Because it's different than like a mobile game. Like, I don't know anybody who's like, oh, you know what? The new Madden came out, but this new mobile game came out, and now I'm gonna play this instead. Like, it's different. I feel like for that reason they're competitors, and then for that reason, I could see the argument that Nintendo has the better exclusives. Technically, all their games are exclusives.
Yeah. There's no that's so you know what's funny? Yeah, bringing up the exclusive like you said.
Yeah.
Why no one mad at Nintendo for that?
Nobody mentions Nintendo.
Nah, you bring up a good point. And I should say this, like I feel like they're on their own island, and when I say like they're not competitors, I just like yes, they're competing with them, but it's like I don't know.
I get
like,
it. No,
we don't hear. There's no drama.
No,
I
get it.
They clearly don't care. Like they're not worried about. Like we don't hear about this. They're chilling so much. Xbox was like, "Yo, Nintendo, we'll bring you Call of Duty." Like I don't even know what's going. Like, and you can get our Activision titles. Like,
no,
what?
absolutely, and that's what I'm saying. Like, there was another. I don't know if it was redacted. It might have actually been a statement that Jim Ryan said. He said that 50%. I don't know where he get this number from, by the way, but he said that 50% of PlayStation owners also own a Nintendo Switch. That's fucking huge. So, in that
what's
sense,
the number for Xbox users? Like what? Like, is he saying that people that have it's more people that have PlayStation that have Nintendo than more people that have Xbox that have PlayStation? I mean, Nintendo.
Yeah, I don't. He didn't have that number.
Like,
he had.
Yeah. Like, why are you telling us? I hear you. I know you're just spitting out what you heard, but
I think the point of that was to say like they're not competitors because people have half PlayStation users have both. Therefore, they're not.
And I feel like Xbox has both too. So I mean, everyone's got shit. I got the Switch back there. I don't even know last time I played something on it.
Trust me, mine is collecting dust somewhere.
Yeah, no, the last time I used it was when I was on the plane a couple months ago, and I was playing Mario Tennis again. Great game. But I just haven't. For those of you who don't know, you could judge me. I have not played any Zelda games. And they very much are right up my alley. Like, I know for sure.
Isn't that weird?
I just haven't. I literally have not played a Zelda game.
Yeah, that's true. Breath of the Wild is right up my alley. I don't know that I've played more than. Man, this is bad. Yeah. We're bad. We're bad.
Yeah, we're bad. It's that gamer ADD, man. We can't sit still. And that one's, I guess, harder because it's like, it's on the Switch. Like, I don't know. I want to be on my PC or my big console. I don't know. It's true.
Yeah, it is weird.
I look at Nintendo as the party console. That's like what you got people over. Like, that's the one thing I hope they keep doing, because then that's the niche that these other two guys are getting away from. The couch co-op and Nintendo, the Mario parties, the Mario Kart. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Smash Bro. Like, that stuff's great. And I still wanted to get Splatoon, the new one. I didn't even know. I was all about Splatoon 2. But yeah, Nintendo doing its thing. What were you gonna say?
Well, because you're talking about all these games that you wanted. I was just gonna shift real quick. What's the next game that you're gonna get? Is there a next? I mean, I assume.
Yeah. So we're
we're basically in July now.
We're playing Diablo.
Yeah.
And that was funny with Diablo, because I know you guys know I played a good amount out of all of us here. It's almost like, and that's why I kind of said the whole like, ooh, if we make a new character, you know why I don't want to go everyone's hating on Diablo, but it's also because everyone has played the shit out. It's like the people complaining is anyone who's got over 70 or 100 hours, and it's like, okay, like no, I'm talking about like certain things where it's like, oh, what can you do? Like, but yeah, anyone who's like, they're missing some stuff, but it's almost like we knew everybody was also waiting for the first season. I'm saying give it some time, wait for season 1, and we could then start bashing them for real, because it was kind of always under the impression like things change, new things are added in seasons. So that's what I'm saying. I'm waiting for that to like, really make my new character. And it's almost like, because I got my Druid now and I'm like leveling up like crazy, but it's almost like, yeah, when that new season comes, I know I'm gonna ditch him, but he's also always still there, man. People got a little bent out of shape with this seasons thing over the internet. I don't know. But that wasn't the question. The next game I'm waiting for is probably, because I guess time's gonna come quick here. Starfield.
I knew you
Starfield has to be the game. I don't know. And that's the game everyone's kind of talking about. And they kind of not doing themselves justice recently in some interview talks that they had with life on a planet and whatnot. And yeah.
So they have 1,000 planets, and only 10% of them have life on them.
So like they easily could have just told us 100 planets have life. I don't know why they had to say 10%. But yeah.
I mean, if that's
not you. No, I get it. That's how it kept getting
said
said everywhere. Like, it's like, just tell us 100 out of your 1,000 have life.
Yeah. I also think they could have just had like 150 planets, 200 planets. I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's
almost like, why do the 1,000? It's like, if you weren't going to try to, if you weren't being, whatchamacallit, what's the game?
No Man's Sky?
No Man's Sky with the quintillion planet. It's like, you're right. What's it that like? Just do what you wanted to do. Make like dope ass planets. Like, I don't know. You would have been like, because at the end of the day, if you really made 150 planets, but they were like legit dope, like nobody except the people that go and put 500 hours in games are gonna be able to be like, oh, I did all that. Like, yeah, I got bored quick. But who knows? We'll see what happens when that game really comes out. I feel like that's also one of those things where you hear a lot of talking about it, but it's like one of those things until you touch it and you
I will say,
feel it.
I will say September and October are huge months for games. Irish brings up the point of Forza Motorsport, which is going to be probably an amazing racing game. There's also Spider-Man 2. It's Spider-Man 2, right? That's going to be the official title. Spider-Man 2.
You're right. Yeah, something like I think it's Spider-Man 2. Even like silly things. Like I said, when we saw the Xbox showcase of stuff that's coming out on Game Pass, because I feel like I gotta take advantage of Game Pass. There's stuff that I want to play. What with the City Skylines?
The City Skylines 2.
Like
there's
I
Payday 3. Payday 3. I want to play that.
Yeah, when we're talking 10 hours to 20 hours total on the game. I don't care, but like those are games I do want to play. Like, you know what I mean? Just get my funds worth and keep it moving. But
yeah, Starfield.
Those are definitely
as far as we're talking about the planets, because Irish brings up a point. 100 is still a lot of planets for life. 900 planets for resources. My hope though is that they don't spread those planets of life so far out that you feel like this is a drag having to go from planet. Obviously, there's the hyperdrive and stuff, but I'm assuming stuff because of its story base. I'm assuming things are gonna be locked behind like certain stories or like levels, or your ship's got to be a certain, level, or it's got to be able to maintain hyperdrive for so long. I'm sure there's certain things that are gonna make it so that you can't really explore like that. It'll be broken down into sections where you can continue to explore new planets as you continue. But
okay, you think you're saying you won't be able to get your ship and go to any 1,000 planets?
I don't think so. There's no shot.
And I only say, and I feel like you might be right, because this is again, they're not trying to be No Man's Sky, and again, this is a lot more of a story-driven game. We know that it's going to be based off of like the story content and like actually campaign playthrough, and then it has all the other stuff kind of deal. Yeah. At least that's how I'm envisioning it, and that's what the two are different. They're not the same. They're not supposed to be the same. They share lots of similarities.
Irish says, imagine visiting 30 crap planets, and on the 31st, you get people you'd be like kissing their feet. I mean, that's yeah. Would that be worth it though? I don't know. It's just basically we're at what, 10 to 1. So you can go to 10 planets with no life before you get to 1 with life. That's how it ratios out. That's a lot. I'm still excited for it though.
But yeah, no, again, but I'm okay for it. And if the other planet, just because they don't have life doesn't mean anything. If it has valuable resource for the game and stuff you want to farm, it's like cool. I don't understand. Like, I'm not under the impression that it needs life either. By the way, like, who said like if the game has the whole resource and crafting aspect and building, and you need to go to a planet to get some resources, like, okay, then that's why I went there. But then the argument could be made when it's like, oh, why did I have to go there? Like, you could have just put it. It's like, yeah, but then it's like, now we're nitpicking things. Kind of like, shit. It's like, that's where us gamers, it's like, we're never happy. And trust me, I've been one to nitpick a lot of things in video games. So, like, I'm just saying that one probably wouldn't bother me if it was, like, done that way. But I, for damn sure, nitpick a lot of shit in video games.
I will say the one thing that concerns me, and I don't know if it's been brought to attention or if it's been if they've answered this. When you go to a planet, especially the ones with the life that they showed, you auto dock. So when you get to the planet, it automatically docks you at a specific spot.
Yeah.
So does that mean that there's a boundary on those planets? Can you go 100% 360 around? I know we talked about it before, but that's still something that I'm curious about, because I'm assuming that it's true. The same thing that happens on the lifeless planets. Like, you get to the planet and it probably auto docks you. You don't fly around. Yeah. So
that is going to be interesting. That's one of those things where they kind of don't talk about it. So I feel like me and you, we're kind of right on that, where there is an out of bounds. I think on every planet in this game, considering it is also Bethesda, where it's like, they had Skyrim fault. Like, those are games with a map. Boom, there's your map. Like, it's gonna be like that, and I feel like that's gonna be one of the shockers. and some you hear about that people are gonna complain. But it's like I almost can't complain about it because I feel like we're predicting it, and I just feel like, oh, that is what it is. It's almost what I'm expecting. Like, I'm not giving myself the high expectation about going around full 360 because exactly there is no free roaming to the point where you're landing and taking off your ship. Like those are cutscene type of things. Like they said, like you're not landing your ship like No Man's Sky. So it'll be interesting.
Speaking of Starfield, they had a was it like $200 or $300 special edition with the watch? Did you get that? Because you were talking about getting that.
Nah, I was talking about getting it so I could resell it or something. I don't know if it was it wasn't worth it. Then I saw their headset, but it was like literally Xbox headset. So I was like, oh, it's a skin of that, and that's not a good headset. Like I ain't wasting my money. I was good. I was tamed. I was excited about it, but I calmed down. You know, we saw it. Then I had some time to myself. And it was like, no. But yeah, video games can be expensive. And it only looks like the way they're pushing technology, along with inflation in today's world, along with everything being more expensive.
Yeah.
These things aren't going to get cheaper. If somebody actually makes a game, then it's not a first-party Game Pass exclusive here, obviously. If we're anybody that makes it's $70 game, man. That ain't cheap.
No, it's
okay,
not.
like Diablo was the game I had to buy, and I went Ultimate Edition loser. Like so, at this point, I was like, I'm paying $70. What's the other? I might as well get my battle pass already for the first season and get a little tier. Like, just go ahead and get my early access because they got you with that. That's what it was. But yeah, you have games that are $70. Then you got developers now. Not like you have Xbox that has Game Pass, but now like we have Ubisoft, right? Oh wow, did they really? I don't think Irish. Sorry, I guess we got to play with our chat bot over there. They said you were spamming. But
he put it in caps. He put it in caps.
Oh, he put it in caps, and then I don't know.
He put it all in caps. Yeah.
But like Ubisoft has like a Ubisoft Play now in their but it's like 20. Like. Bro, it's Ubisoft. Yeah, you have built a library now, but it's like, let's say that's 30 games. At least Game Pass over here, which is I think cheaper.
Currently, anyways.
It's 1,000 some games on that library. You know what I mean? Like here, you're gonna charge me a little more, and it's just your 30 games. But like now, our developers gonna start doing monthly subscriptions. Are we gonna get to a point where it's like, yo, pay to keep the servers up? You start paying monthly for a game. Then you also have free-to-play games, though, but they throw in there that microtransaction and ads and stuff like that get people to buy stuff. Obviously, there's some people that can restrain from that, but we know they probably prey on kids the most or something that, little Johnny takes mommy's credit card out her purse and is swiping away them V-Bucks. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Yo, little Johnny's an asshole. Every time you bring up little Johnny, I can't stand that kid.
Johnny be doing work, man.
I actually had this conversation with Irish. This is actually I want to ask you this question. So hypothetically, if there was a service that you could pay a small amount of money to play a game for like a day, I'd say, like let's say for $3 you could play, I don't know, Battlefield 2042 or whatever it was for 24 hours. Would you pay for a service like that instead of having a subscription where it's $18 a month, but you have to pay $18 a month now? Well, now I think that's what it's going to be for Game Pass. Game Pass is going up to $18 a month, I think.
It's going up, yeah. You're saying if it's which I called, it's going to get more expensive. We say they're going to go up. Nah, if it's like, so you're saying like if it was like $2 for 24 hours?
Yeah. Let's just say it like that.
It's just like it's like so dangerous, but at the same time, like that's one of those things where it's great. Like all these plans, they kind of work great if somebody has the discipline to use it the way it's supposed to be used. But like, for example, like Game Pass or subscriptions, right? We know damn well the whole point is to prey on the laziness in people. And what they know is that, once you get it's going to charge you every month and it's like I can go 4 months without actually using a game on Game Pass.
Yeah.
And then go but now, and I essentially just paid. Now we do $60 in 4 months, like a brand new game, and actually I didn't play anything.
Yeah.
Like, bro, that's why it's like anything. It's like go to the gym. You know, the gym membership, man. It's the same thing. That's what they say with Planet Fitness. No. They say Planet Fitness, bro. That was the dude's model. Like, this whole crazy thing, I have to think about it. Then someone stops going to the gym, but the only way you can cancel the membership is by going to the gym. They stop going. Then they're embarrassed to go to the gym. Bro, advertisers and models out there made by these people, money-hungry people, they're sick, man.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. To answer your question about would I want to do a service like that, I guess it's an option, but put it this way, I guess the thing is with subscriptions, it's like keeping your credit card. Boom. Like if you tell me it's one-time payment all the time for this stuff, I wouldn't be opposed to it existing.
Well, it's just like for instance, Steam, you connect your PayPal account or your credit card, whatever. But for me, I connect my PayPal account, and anytime I buy something on Steam, it already has my PayPal information. I never have to log into PayPal. So So to me, it would be kind of the same way, but I take personal offense to this gym membership shit that you keep talking about. Your little analogy.
Irish right here. Point exactly. This man Irish and his wife have had 2 memberships at Planet to this day. And he said he might be exaggerating, but he's saying he hasn't been in a decade. Bro, but so that's the whole model. This guy's getting, like, this guy's making bank.
Yeah.
And that's also why he keeps it at $10, because it's like a $10, like, it's not an expensive gym membership. So he's just getting multitude of people to sign up. It is crazy. And no one's just like, it's $10. I ain't going to cancel that shit. Like, what?
Yeah, but it also works because it's only $10. Like now we have Game Pass.
That's what I'm. No, and that's my point. That's what's that's crazy. Like, but Game Pass, that is getting on the expensive side. But you're right. Like, I gotta start looking in the mirror myself. Like, because I don't know the last time I played a Game Pass game, and I paid for this thing the last 4 months.
Yeah.
So what?
4 months. I might have you beat on that if it's only been 4 months.
Nah, I don't know. But we definitely tried something. But that's terrible. What are we doing? And that's not good. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, as I'm saying this, I'm actually getting mad at myself because I don't like doing that.
Yeah. You spend money. You spend money like an adult. One game this week, another game next week.
Yeah.
Oh man,
crazy. Irish talking about $20 now, not $10. He's a VIP member. God dang.
I believe it.
Oh man,
Irish lives in a mansion. You didn't know that? It's incredible.
Oh, this
Anyways,
our number one viewer.
Yeah. So
man. Yeah.
So just to wrap this up real quick, just to this premonition, right? Where what's the word that Logan used? Where we can see into the future. We're psychics. Right? Activision Blizzard. Do they get bought by Microsoft?
I think it goes through. I think it goes through.
You don't want to be a meme, but
so we all know what that means now that I said it will go through.
Yeah, but you're a walking contradiction because you're wearing a light blue shirt, you got the Sony headset on, now you're saying the Microsoft merger goes through. Like, which one are you? I don't understand.
Oh, screw you, Sony. Can't wait to play Spider-Man.
I actually think it does go through still. I think it does go through. From everything I've heard, and again, I also do have to say that the things that I read, the people, as much as they're trying to be unbiased, I think they have a little bias in favor of Microsoft. But from everything I've read, it seems like the FTC isn't doing a good job at making a case to block this merger.
But what makes it worse is that all these other commissions have passed it.
Yeah.
Who the hell are we? Like, come on.
Yeah, there's like
that's
so many. There's like 30, 40 countries somewhere in that vicinity. I think that passed it, and now it's
like, that's stupid,
the U.S.
bro.
The U.S. Get this: the U.S. is trying to block a U.S. company from buying a U.S. company because of a Japanese company.
Yeah.
That's just the main people that they're protecting.
This don't make
basically.
sense.
Yeah.
That's a great way to end this episode, man. Oh, Kevin hitting you with the cold, hard facts. Okay.
It's crazy out here.
But yeah, man, this has been a pleasure doing this episode. Sorry we couldn't get to you guys a little sooner this week.
Yes, sir.
We gotta keep bringing you the content, but we can't keep bringing you content if you don't tell us what you like, what you don't like, man. Don't forget to drop a comment, like the video, share with your friends and family. We're out here trying to do our best. Gamer Vice giving you all the vice you need.
There it is. Okay.
There you go. Okay.
It only took about 15 episodes, but you might have got something there.
Gamer Vice giving you the vice you need. Hey, I like it. All right, man.
Very nice.
Thanks for tuning in, folks. Kevin, always a pleasure doing the cast with you, man.
As always.
Everybody, have a wonderful night.
Have a good one, y'all.
Peace.